Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 4 instructional video. I wanted to start by thanking you for your patience and your flexibility along with some of your well wishes. I really appreciate it. I know last week was a bit of a change up, so I appreciate your patience. So I wanted to not only go over where to go and what to do this week, but I also have a few reminders I wanted to kind of make sure that I'm hitting upon so that these things are on your mind as we move forward. So the first thing is that I want to review the notifications area. So this was in the kind of instructional D2L video, but remember that if you go up here and click on notifications, this is where you can set up some specific information that will be texted or emailed to you. And it also has, of course, access to the Brightspace Pulse app. Now, I want to reiterate that the app is very limited, and if you've already downloaded it on your phone, then you can see that. It doesn't really let you upload documents or complete assignments. It's just kind of a quick glance so that if you want to check your grade or if you want to double check a due date, something like that, it is available there. But if you want some more personalized, some more specific kinds of notifications, remember if you scroll down, you'll want to register your phone, so you'll go through this process. Remember to save. You'll be texted the access code. Once you've done that, these will be options for you to actually click. For our class, really, the only place that I really think is a good idea to have these notifications is for the announcements, because if anything changes in a week, if I want to remind you of a due date or any of that, it's going to pop up in announcements and it will send you a text message just as a reminder. Don't select everything on this list because then it just will be constantly texting your phone and you don't want that. Make sure you click save here at the bottom. So that's the notification. I also want to remind you of all the information available in D2L. So if you look at the right-hand side here, of course you have the Start Here link, so it's kind of a quick view of some of the information for our course, that kind of thing. But then also on the left-hand side, you have the book and readings, and then the D2L and tech help. This is a really important area because it takes you to our virtual learning assistance center, and some of those things have been linked here, like how to set up those notifications, right? So make sure that you're just kind of keeping that in mind should you need some of that information in the future, okay? All right, so if we scroll down, we also have the syllabus, schedule, and rubric. So if at a quick glance you need to access information about our upcoming written response assignments or discussion posts, anything like that, it's all available right here. The last thing I want to reference is the student success area, where it has, links to academic support, technology support, that kind of thing. You can also find some of that information in the Start Here area. So let's go ahead and go to week number 4, our upcoming week. So this week you do have some reading to do. You have chapter 3 in our course text, so remember to access that. You can go to the book and additional readings. You can either access the whole book by clicking here, and this will just take you where you can choose where you'd like to go, or in D2L specifically, if you scroll down in that module, you'll see that the chapters are linked here. Okay, so you'll want chapter 3 and it will take you, and you don't have to complete any of the assignments in this section. Our assignments are going to be separate from the course text, so just keep that in mind. So again, if we go to the table contents and visit the week 4 module, you have that chapter to read, as well as a TED Talk by Ron Finley. This is the portion of the class. I know in a 12-week course we move kind of quickly, but the class is set up with 2 things in mind. So on one side of our class, it's really reading about writing, thinking about how we write and the process. On the other side is, okay, let's take some of those ideas that we're thinking about with writing and apply it to a specific topic, because in any of your academic classes, you're going to have these topics you have to write about, right? So I've chosen the topic of food just because it's something that we all can relate to in some way. And so we'll have videos and readings related to that general topic of food and food culture, so that we can take those things that we're learning and thinking about with writing start kind of making use of them, right? Taking advantage of them. So we'll do that this week with Ron Finley's TED Talk. If you haven't seen it, it's really great. There is some adult language, but we're all adults, right? So take some time to view that. So on Monday, you are watching the instructional video, and there's also a written response instructional video. So take some time, break apart all that you have to do. Don't sit and do all this reading and watch this video. Don't do it all at once. Take some breaks. After the written response video, you have a prompt that's posted for that assignment, and then your participation quiz. So we don't necessarily have a discussion post this week because your energy and time is going to be spent in that written response assignment, which is 20 points. And then you do have that participation quiz due Sunday, which is 10 points. All right, so if you scroll down, we have our 3 sections, right, to watch, to review, and to do. So you're watching what will appear as number 1 here, but then you have the written response instructional video. You have those guidelines you can review here and the template to use. Please use the templates when they're offered. They're already set up in MLA format. Why struggle with that when it's already set up for you? And then in the to-do section, you have your written response. If you click on that, it takes you to the assignments area. Another way to do that, just if you have questions in the future, I'm going to go back to our week 4 module. And if you want to just access that quickly, you go up to the course activities tab and click on assignments. This is also where you can go to the quizzes. And then in the collaboration section is where we go to discussions or to WebEx if you wanted to make an appointment to meet with me. So if you're in WebEx, let me scoot this over a bit. It defaults to the event calendar, but you'll want to click appointment booking. And in this section, you'll see all the available days and times. And so what you'll do is just click that. You'll let me know a topic and then click reserve appointment. And when that time rolls around, and it is Central Standard Time, you just come back to here and it will give you an option to click to join the meeting. Okay, so just for future reference. So I'm going to go to the assignments area the different ways. So by clicking course activities, I'm going to go to assignments. And this is where you'll click week 4. And here are the instructions. So this will be related to Ron Finley's TED Talk. So I want you to use the template, indent paragraphs. For all intents and purposes, this is kind of a mini essay. When I use the term essay, a lot of time that gives us, our blood pressure starts to go up. Don't think of it that way overall. It's an essay in the sense that I want it to be in MLA format, so it has that heading and the header, 12-point font, Times New Roman, indented paragraphs, proper spacing. That's the formal kind of part of it. The writing itself, I want you to just think of it as a discussion post that you're just putting to paper with the expectation that it is revised, it is edited, all of that good stuff. So I want to, as I'm talking about this, also remind you, I always recommend to students, use Grammarly. Why not? If you go to Grammarly.com, you can get the free version. It essentially downloads to your computer so that when you open a document, it will start, it'll let you know some of these things that you might want to correct. You can make choices about it. So it's a built-in editor of sorts. It is not 100% perfect at all, but it is something that is there as another fail-safe, a layer that's added to. Gonna have to pause to cough 1 second. Sorry about that. Grammarly is just an extra layer in addition to the spell and grammar check features in Microsoft Word. So why wouldn't we use tools that are available to us, especially if we are somebody who we are already concerned perhaps about our grammar or our writing in general? This is just another way to help. Okay, so I think everybody should use it. All right, so if we go back to week 4 in the written response, each paragraph that you're asked to write should be about 6 to 7 sentences, and this is because you will need to include quotes. So if you go to Finley's TED Talk, if you go to Finley's TED Talk, if you click on the link, you'll notice that there is a read transcript button here. If you click on that, the transcript is open to the right, which is really helpful because that will let us know word for word what Finley is saying. When we're using quotes, they should be accurate. We need to be very careful. So make sure that you're keeping that in mind as you're working on your work here. I'm going to go back the other way just to make sure we're thinking about all the different ways. I'm going to have to pause again to cough. Whew, okay, sorry about that. So in each paragraph, we need some sort of quote to support our ideas. And what I really want to stress is that quotes in academic writing, quotes should not be what lead us through our ideas. No, no, no. Quotes are there to support our ideas. So I want you to really focus in on Finley, his ideas, his argument throughout the video, and only use quotes that are help supporting your analysis. So don't start paragraphs with quotes, don't end paragraphs with quotes, because that means the quote is leading your idea versus you creating those strong topic sentences and having quotes to just support your ideas. All right, so in the first paragraph, I want you to identify why are Finley's ideas important, right? I want you to focus directly on his point. So that's not necessarily about your opinions or generalizations. Sometimes I have students who, you know, these ideas are important for the whole world and the nation needs to do more, da 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 da. Focus just on Finley's ideas. We want to make sure that we're kind of focusing our analysis. Use quotes from his transcript. And I put a link here to the Purdue Online Writing Lab website if you want to take a quick second to review how to incorporate quotes and how to reference them. So there's a lot of great information there. For the second paragraph, I want you to focus in on one key point that Finley identifies that you find interesting or important. So I want you to thoroughly explain his idea, make sure we're giving him credit throughout, make sure Finley says this, Finley argues that. What about this point is important? And finally, in one paragraph, I want you to examine your connections to Finley's discussion. Do you or did your family grow their own food? Is there access to fresh produce? This can really go anywhere, just so long as you're making a personal connection. I know sometimes, pause. I know sometimes in academic writing we are discouraged from using first person, from writing about the personal, but in our class that's something that's always welcome as long as it's serving a purpose, right? We're not just using it as a kind of crutch with our writing. We're not falling back on old habits. We are intentionally using the first person to serve that purpose. And in this, it's you making connections directly to Finley's ideas. Even if you can't on the surface relate at all, then write about that. Why can you not relate? Okay. Don't reuse quotes. I've been looking at some from the past. Don't use a quote in the first paragraph that you then repeat in the third paragraph. So I'm trying to make some notes of my little pet peeves and stuff as we go, because that only seems fair. There are the guidelines here and then the written response template. So if you click on this, if you download it, all you do is fill it in. So if you double click at the top, you replace this with your last name, and that means it will repeat on every single page. You should not be manually typing in the page numbers. Let Word do that work. Fill in your English. We are English 1301. Pause. Okay, so then you put the title in quotation marks because it is the title of a video. That's how we note it. And then the author's name, or in this case, the speaker's name. You'll begin your response, hit the return key a couple times, and then place a single important quote that you have not already used, and then explain that quote. So we're working on really finding those quotes that are important, that are relevant, and making sure that we have space to explain them, both in our paragraphs, but then also at the very end. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Post in the Q&A area of our discussion board, because then everybody will be able to see that question and understand whatever it is that we need clarity on, right? Because maybe I'm not being as clear as I could be. Going back to week 4, then the other thing will be on Sunday, that quiz. And the quiz will be based on this video, the reading, that kind of thing. All right, so the random word for the quiz today is going to be picture. I don't know. But I hope you have a wonderful week, and of course let me know if you have any questions. We're already into week 4, y'all, so we are hitting the ground running. All right, have a good week.